Hello there again, CH folks. In this video, I'd like to show you how to install a compatible Wi-Fi dongle to your Kali distribution or to your Kali machine so that you can do some Wi-Fi hacking or Wi-Fi auditing. Now, it's very important to have compatible hardware to your Kali because not all hardware can listen to Wi-Fi signals. It may detect, but it may not always listen to Wi-Fi signals. So in this particular example, if you would need to do so, you need at least, you know, any brand of these particular model numbers. If it's an Atheros, I've worked with all of them in my time teaching this course, and they mostly work the same way across the board, except that you might need different drivers for different occasions. In my case, Atheros has proven to be the most compatible. However, there's a difference in sort of the power of the dongle itself. And as we go along and as we do some Wi-Fi hacking here, you will find out that certain dongles may not be able to affect a deauthentication without outside help. Now, you can use either a Rawlink or Realtek, which are more modern sort of versions of Wi-Fi dongles. And with this, you need to install the driver specifically. Only Atheros so far has proven to me as plug and play. So anyway, without further ado, let me install the driver. But before I do that, if I might remind you, before you start your distribution, this is what you need to do. Before you start your virtual machine, you need to make sure that in the USB settings or the USB section of your settings, you have the dongle actually added. And how do you do that? First, let me remind you that if you could use USB 1.1 or 2.0 as the standard or sort of the setting for your current port, it will work more compatibly than if you were to use USB 3. For some reason, that is just from experience. How do we go about adding it? You click on this icon, add a new USB filter. So just so you can see it, let me do it here. And this other distro here. And it's a security distro as well. And they all make use of the Debian system. You need to make use at least of either USB 2 or USB 1.1. I'm just using 1.1 for the example. And then you add the USB filter from which you can select the specific dongle that you have. So in my case, that's Realtek 82.11. And the particular driver that you need for that would be the RTL 88 XXAU. And how do we install that again? This is just the command that you need to memorize, or at least bear in mind. So apt install Realtek, and there you go. It's already there. Continue with Y. Now remember, it might take a while to install it. So just be patient. It gets installed. And there you are. Either you restart after the installation just to make sure that everything is loaded normally, or you may go about it right away, which does not Okay, the module DKMS includes build exclusive, which does not match this kernel arch config. Let's see then how we may be able to update this kernel. Let me see. It seems that we have what this sort of warning indicates is that we have an older version of DKMS. And DKMS is sort of a package management system. I call it a package management system that needs to be updated from time to time. And what would that be? Let me check my files for a minute. I think I have it here. And this is the command, just in case. And we may be able to copy that to our Kali terminal here. Copy and see if it works for us. Paste. Nope, I don't think so. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay, that's the command. Oh, I'm already in root mode, or in root, or the root. Install build essential DKMS git bc libel fdev linux headers. And what's happening here is actually it is building the DKMS on account of the current version of this distribution's core. You name, and you will see that shortly. And there it goes. And there it is. We can reboot the system. And in fact, you may need to rebuild it on a fresh installation of Kali before even you install the actual driver to avoid that sort of error. It's just a matter of, which came first. And I did this on assumption. And here we go. Let me log in again. And here we are, rebooted. And from here on in, we can start running the commands for Wi-Fi hacking. And what are the major commands, at least, of the aircrack NG suite? First of all, we got to enable the adapter in monitor mode. And what do I mean by monitor mode? I referred to it as listening mode earlier. Monitor mode is sort of that unique characteristic that these Wi-Fi interfaces have that are compatible to Kali. So we can start by just running the airmon ng command so we can see what interfaces are available to us. And by the way, I changed the interface because I experienced some issues with the previous interface that I used. So this is another dongle altogether. And I just happened to stumble upon this dongle one time a few years ago and had the luck of the world to have a perfectly working dongle all the time. So Anyway, that's it, Airmon NG, and we know our interface already. We will address it as such, as its interface name, and that's WLAN 0. Oh, we may start. Oops, sorry about that. We need to start that in monitor mode, and there you go. We might have to check kill some processes. What do you mean by that? There are background processes that might interfere with Wi-Fi auditing, and that is usually the WPA supplicant. And we disable that or we kill that process using airmon ng or the airmon ng check kill command. Takes a while to kill the background processes, and then after that we proceed to another command in the aircrack suite, which is, I think, the final command that we will make use tonight. That is airmon ng, or rather arrow dump. And what this does actually, preliminarily, is scan for Wi-Fi signals that we can actually capture. And let's see if it's working. And there you go. It's starting to scan now. It seems that this newer distribution, this newer version of Kali is kind of slow at the pickup, but it eventually picks up. And so there we are. Now, depending on our particular target, which we will discuss in some other session, we may select that target and dump the captured packets from that target so that we may be able to run a cracking software if there are any matches at all with, let's say, a library of passwords to the captured packets, if anything. And so take this for example. Let's say we're targeting a particular ESSID here. And I don't know what they are, but I don't want to do it right now. But let's say we are doing this, RC99. So what do we do to target that? We copy that selection, make a note of the channel. That's in channel 1. And that's kind of a strange channel sometimes. So what is happening here? We do another airmon ng, the same interface, of course, channel 6. And then, of course, we have that BSSID, or base service set identifier, as opposed to the extended service set identifier, which is what we see when we enable Wi-Fi. Some of it are hidden, and therefore you won't see any ESSID name. That is a countermeasure for Wi-Fi hacking in particular. And mind you, if there's something that you have to note about Wi-Fi these days, is Wi-Fi is in a more advanced state. We are now, in fact, in Wi-Fi 7, operating at 7 gigahertz. And 7 gigahertz, even 6 gigahertz, is far beyond the reach of regular dongles. I have yet to experiment with 6 gigahertz and 7, and so for the most part, I am hacking 2G Wi-Fi, and they are my Wi-Fi, for example, for that matter. You cannot hack somebody else's Wi-Fi. That will be illegal. So in this case, that will be the command for that. And what happens here is that basically it will only be picking up packets. What do you mean by beacons? These beacons are what is being sent by the Wi-Fi, sort of advertising. That's a beacon. And MB here, the data. If there's any data being uh, received or transmitted by the hotspot. So there you go. That's the basics of at least installing your Wi-Fi adapter to your Kali or in your Kali distribution. So you'll see more of this in the coming videos or in the next few sessions. Thank you so much.